So we're just leaving the Tuarts Reserve. Had a one night stay over, and we're not far off from getting home. We stayed over from last at the what was that place? The Fig Tree, and then we travelled down to
Port Denison.
Port Denison. Had a night over at Port Denison again, and then from there yesterday we left Port Denison and drove down to Jurien Bay. We also went to Lehman prior, had a look around there, had some absolutely fantastic fish and chips, probably best fish and chips in WA, Lehman, and then came down here towards Jurien Bay, got some provisions at Jurien Bay, and then found this site, Tuarts Reserve. Kilometres from Perth now, so we aim to just drive home. We'll have a few breaks to accommodate the little one, and we anticipate being home. It's 10 to 8 in the morning, so we'll be home hopefully around about 11 o'clock. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock. We always go nice and steady. Turn round.
These clouds are not used to that, are we?
So I was just going to say ironically, but maybe not so ironic, but when we first left, this is the last vlog for our little trip north and back. So I was going to say ironically, it's cloudy, just like the first video. Again, we're not that far away from Perth, so maybe not so ironically, we're still officially still in winter. Spring starts on the 1st of September, so yeah, not surprising the weather's like this. So we are going to go coastal, down the coastal road today. This is where we're making our way across here. We could have gone the opposite way, where that other van just turned around to. They're probably going to make their way to the Brand Highway, which is the main highway north-south. We've been on that quite often, but we just want to see more, hopefully, of the picturesque landscape. But when the days are like this, it probably won't look too picturesque. So we'll come back a little bit later if there's anything else nicer to see. Do a little bit of filming down the coastal way. And then at the very end will be our summarisation of our experience. This was the first MotorRoaming tour, and we'll give you our thoughts on the whole thing, including the fuel consumption on the old Winnebago as well. So we've just stopped off at a car park area just to use the bin facilities, and we're tipping on towards Lancelin, not too far off. We've just gone beyond Pinnacles. There is the dunes, and we'll probably see a bit more of that. South as we get closer to Lancelin. Mansling has a massive dune area, so people visit it for the day out. People actually, it's almost like not skateboarding, like surfing on boards down it, sandboarding I think they call it. There's always some fun to be had with it.
4-wheel driving on it, don't
Are they allowed to do that? I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So
4-wheel drive.
you can hire the little, what they call those small
Quad?
quad bikes, yeah.
So we're just passing it over towards Catherine's side now. That's a fair amount of sand. Bronte's watching it. So yesterday we had a really good day with Bronte. She travelled really well on this same road. This morning we've set off and we're on the exact same road again. And she's a little bit unsettled. We're doing the same things as before. We've got our curtain up. We've closed off the bedded area, so it's just the cabin noise. She's settled again now. But she seems to look at the overhang here from the bedded area upstairs, that boat, and you look at our front end of the motorhome, and so when she sat here she sees it and it seems to unsettle her. I think she thinks something's falling in. But hopefully she's getting a bit better again now.
She didn't like the sexy and sassy scent thing, did she?
When that was bouncing around and swaying around, that would put her off. So when she'd look up and that thing's almost in her face here, that unsettled her as well. It seems like anything can unsettle her. So we're still working on things. We did get a pet carrier, so she's been in that. We've just been introducing that pet carrier on an evening, so she gets familiar with it. She's been sleeping in there as well, which is good, so she's getting used to it. And we're not introducing that yet for her to be in the pet carrier whilst we're travelling. It'll just be too soon, we think. So the next journey, the next trip, which is hopefully the southwest of Western Australia. Hello, darling. Back to rain again. So we've just got onto the freeway now, heading home, not far off. So we'll close off the driving section from here, and then we will have a little bit of a chat later on about the positives and negatives of MotorRoaming.
What we've learned.
What we haven't learned.
I think we did alright overall.
So far so good, but we'll round off a little bit later. Alright, we're back home, and this is actually a few days on, but we did promise at the end of the video to actually put something together as a to do and to don't, or do's and don'ts. So the first thing is we're going to mention is do get a decent network coverage, which is Telstra in Australia. You need to have a good service for obviously getting Wi-Fi, doing the bits and bats on the mobile phones, and if you're vlogging, to upload your vlogs to YouTube. So we got Telstra, and the service is okay. The coverage isn't the best, so in some places it's not so good. But yeah, definitely get a decent network coverage on your mobile phones.
Buy the Camps 11 book. We did buy that before we left, and it's really good. It's got free and cheap camping places, and it's got really good maps in. It covers the whole of Australia. It's easy to see where places are pet friendly, where they aren't, and then you can go to the guide for each one, see whether they've got washing facilities, whether they've got water, power, and what's on those sites. So I do recommend that. There is a app version as well, but as we discovered, the book covers you when you haven't got coverage.
Yes, and sort of following on from that, for tips, do talk to fellow campers. So they'll actually mention what the good campgrounds are like, first-hand reviews, and they'll give you bits of information when you are newbies like us. So do talk to your fellow campers. Also, if you're desperate to watch television, do not rely on your aerial on your mobile phone, mobile home only. You might not get the coverage. So if you're desperate to watch TV, you'd have to have a satellite dish to pick up the TV stations that way, okay? And maybe even a satellite phone if you needed to actually definitely have some coverage, some contact to if you're going further into the sticks as such. We didn't. We stayed pretty much roadside, didn't go too far off the beaten track, so we knew we were always close to people around us.
Have the ability to free camp is a good idea. We didn't do it till the fourth night, but we have solar. We've got 2 solar panels on the roof, and we've got 2 good deep cell batteries. We've also got 2 9-kilogram gas bottles, so we had no problems free camping. The other thing, of course, that you can consider having for 240 volts is a generator, which we don't have, but we managed fine without. The only thing that we found could run out of, we didn't, but we were surprised, is water. You need a capacity. We have fresh water tank, but having some extra water on board in some containers is a very good idea to be able to free camp for a few nights in a row.
Do get microfiber towels.
Yes, yeah, microfiber towels are great. They dry quickly and they wash and dry quickly. They're lightweight, so they're ideal for camping, motorhoming, caravanning.
Just give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. Oh, and do buy tinned food and snacks. So because you'll find that if you actually go into the places where it's a bit more remote, like we did, then you will be paying a lot of money for general pieces of food, tinned food, snacks, etc. So just get them in your local stores prior to setting off.
Yeah, buy hopefully, I mean, it depends on your storage. Buy as many as you can of the non-perishable items and take them with you, because you will pay a premium in these out-of-way places.
So that's pretty much the do's. The don'ts that we experienced or have some knowledge about now is don't move on night after night. So we actually did do a lot of just driving, not a long time, because if you've watched the videos you'd have seen that Bronte didn't travel very well. So we then realised that we couldn't travel too far, so we'd only go maybe 2 hours drive each day, which then resulted in us basically driving, stopping over one night, driving, stopping over one night, and so on and so on. We did have a few nights, maybe 2 nights was the longest stay, wasn't it?
Oh, 2 nights.
So even that's possibly not enough anyhow. You just need to feel like you are on holiday, and at times it was How would you describe it? It was not always feeling like it was a holiday when we were just.
You felt tired, really.
Yeah,
just
you're in a
moving
routine.
on.
Up on the road, stop. Up on the road, stop. So give yourself plenty of time to actually enjoy where you're at and to actually rest and recuperate as well. Another don't is don't leave your fridge on DC power and deplete your batteries like we did. So our fridge has 3 types of power. So it's gas powered. It's also AC electrical powered through campsites, and then the DC is through the batteries on the vehicle, not the starter battery, but it's a separate battery on the vehicle. And we pulled up one night, completely forgot to switch over onto gas. I mean, we must have turned the gas on because we would have boiled the kettle for a cup of tea, but completely forgot about the power for the refrigerator. And Catherine woke up in the morning and said, with no power. My heart sank because I thought, how are we going to start the motorhome? Hence, just mentioned before, they're completely separate, the batteries. So I quickly realised that the issue was just having no power. So we had no lights, nothing. But they quickly replenished, didn't they, once they charged up through the solar power units. They did a fantastic job. You mentioned a tale about someone said that the batteries must have been good to actually go for so long.
Well, that's me. I said on the plus side of it, Len, is we've learnt we've got quite good batteries, because talking to a caravanner the next morning, he said, oh yeah, they'll drain your battery in an hour and a half, and it took 12 hours to drain our batteries, so they're pretty good batteries. And to be fair, as I say in Here We Tow, it was our first night free camping, so I think we were allowed that little mistake. We didn't do it again, did we?
No, you learn by your mistakes, and that other channel Catherine mentioned is for like campers and caravanners. They do reviews and do a few caravan trips, etc. That's as much as we'll mention them. They're a rival channel. Not really.
Check them out.
Here We Tow.
Yeah. The other thing is, is not to buy the expensive Thetford specialist caravanning motorhoming toilet paper that'll cost you a fortune. Just buy the cheap stuff from the supermarket, the 2-ply stuff, and that's fine for your toilet cassette. So save yourself some money and go for the bargain basement toilet roll.
Also, this is tongue-in-cheek in a way, but do not compare Swiss Army knives. We had a knife off. We've both got Swiss Army knives, and we're just like, I was saying, I've got this. Have you got that, Catherine? Yes, I have. Or no, I don't. And as Catherine was extracting these blades and tools and so on, yes, you guessed it, she's flicking one around, and next thing, the knife blade fell upon her finger, and she got a nasty cut on her finger. Bled for quite a while. I had to do some heavy-duty nursing, let's say, heavily bandaged the finger up, picked it off the floor and stitched it together a little bit, but it's come good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's fine.
It didn't come off, and we did not pick it off the floor, and we didn't stitch it together. It just had a nasty cut on it.
Yeah.
And what else do we need to mention? Another sort of thing which you shouldn't do is buy, I suppose, any type of crayfish from any person who sells it off the street. We bumped into a gentleman in Port Denison and got talking to him, and he basically asked, did we like seafood? We said, yeah, yes, we do. And then he offered to sell us some crayfish, which we bought. We were buying 5. He charged us for 5, and he gave us 4. Now, that was not good.
But, as it turns out, because I did ring the police...
This is not going to be a long story.
He should not have been selling it. He's not a commercial fisherman. You're supposed to get a proper receipt when you buy any fish of any kind. So I think they've been after him for a while. So a statement has been given and it will be taken to court.
Potentially, and we're not going any further amongst that now, G. Just to cap on our fuel consumption, because there'll be people who would be interested in that. A friend of ours was really keen to see what our daily costs were like, which we can mention as well, but also the consumption for the motorhome, which is a Winnebago Mercedes Sprinter 2.2 turbo diesel engine. The returns were... If you're in Australia, then we were getting 10.87 litres per 100 kilometres. And if you're like me from the UK and understand miles per gallon more, we were returning 26 to the gallon. So I was hoping to get 30 miles to the gallon. 26 isn't too bad. We actually started our kilometres at 206,870 kilometres, but the engines had a recondition, so we knew the engine was going to go pretty well. And our end kilometres were 209,966, being 3,096 kilometres in total. So we did quite a few thousand kilometres in it. The motorhome did very well, and yeah, happy enough with the fuel consumption. The daily costs of being on holiday, your meals, cooking your meals, diesel, buying your provisions,
the sites that we did stay at and paid for, worked out at about $85 for both of us
each
per
day. Yeah, so being on holiday, all in, an all-in package, $85 for a couple, and a little bit of dog food for Bronte girl. She's at the front of the cabin. She's gone camera shy, so we'll leave her to it. She's probably having a little snooze at the moment. All right, well, that's us with our do's and don'ts and our conclusions of our trip. We'll do more in the future. We're looking forward to going elsewhere. If you enjoyed those little vlogs and those videos, then thanks for watching. Very much appreciated. And that's me pretty much going to sign out. Catherine?
Yep, bye. See you in the next one.
That was a quick one. You can't say that. That's been copywritten. Someone else says that. You've got to have your own catchphrase. Don't copy people's catchphrases. Expect a lawsuit coming on soon. Bye for now.